My name is Marcy Ward. I am the Extension Livestock Specialist for New Mexico State University. I've been here about, almost 10 years now. I grew up in Colorado, but have lived sort of everywhere. So, if you're not familiar with what Extension is, basically we are outreach where we bring science to producers and so they can apply it. And that entails a lot of educational programs. We do demonstrations around the state. One of my favorite projects is we do what's called a bull test. So we bring young bulls into a facility where we feed them for about 6 months, and we take data, and then we have the production sale at the end where they sell the bulls into New Mexico, Texas, all around. So I get to kind of teach and play with cattle, so that really makes for a pretty interesting job. Not one day is like the other, so it's not doing the same thing over and over again. It's a lot of variety. As it relates to that bull test that I referred to, we just had a really good year. The cattle did well, the sale was good, and my goal is to help producers in that set make a profit. And we did that. And we had a really good sale. A lot of people came, it was well received. And so I felt like that was a good sign of success. The other program I'm really proud of is a youth ranch management camp. So that's a week-long, very hands-on, day-to-day instruction for young people interested in ranching. And that's coming up in June. So my path has been somewhat unusual, but I'm fortunate that I knew at a very early age what I wanted to do. So even though I was born in a family that was not ranching, we had an opportunity to move to a ranch when I was about 10. And then I had an aunt and uncle who also had a fairly sizable ranch in Wyoming. And I was hooked. From the first horse to pushing cows to branding, I knew that's where I wanted to be. And that never changed from when I was 10 years old. And so I went to school in animal science and started at Montana State, went and transferred back to Colorado State, and then knew I wanted to get an advanced degree. And that's where I got my master's in nutrition, ruminant nutrition, animal science here at New Mexico State a long time ago. Then I went to work for industry in sales, and I told myself I really didn't want to get into sales, but when you're a starving grad student, the first job is the best job, right? So I went back to school and got my PhD out of North Dakota State, of all places, in ruminant nutrition. And there I really grabbed hold of the teaching aspect within animal agriculture. And so I got a job as a junior college instructor out of Kansas. And that job was actually quite fun. But this opportunity to come back to New Mexico came up. And it was something I'd always kind of deep down wanted to do as an extension on the state level. And so here I am. So three very different jobs. One in industry, one in kind of straight academic teaching, and then this one is a little bit different. So high school is a little bit interesting. So we moved from the ranch to the Front Range of Colorado, where 4-H, animal agriculture really wasn't a thing. We were basically in the suburbs, right? So it took me away from what I really was connected to be quite honest. But that's okay because, I still had my horses and we still had that. In terms of classes I enjoyed in high school, I was drawn to the sciences. Particularly one that stuck out to me was a AP anatomy class. And we worked on cats all semester, and we learned every muscle, every tendon, every organ. It was just a really neat class that I enjoyed very much. And So, and then athletics helped too, kind of with the staying in sports and all that, keeping that team and involvement, and that I thought was an important part of my high school experience. But anyway, so yeah, it kind of actually pulled me away from animal agriculture a little bit, but it never left my mind, or I guess, in here, and so that's why I went straight into animal science at college. If you find something you naturally are passionate about, or that you just don't even think is work, or it's not difficult for you, you resonate towards it for whatever reason, then follow it. Just, whether it be science or liberal arts, or whatever it is that you just know you have a immediate comfort in, um, then pursue that. And it may not be the easiest. The path you think will happen will very much likely not be the path that you end up taking. But along the way, I've always learned things, both good and bad. I don't like this. I like this. I learned that, and you do, keep your mind open to learning new things, and don't be, well, I'm never going to do this, and then never. It's not really a word that exists in my mind, because it can happen, and you end up learning more from those kind of situations and failures, than maybe just trying to stay on one specific track. So.